So, there's like, alright, there's this, I don't know if you call it a condition. It's a form of delusion that a couple dozen schizophrenics around the world have been known to have. It's called the Truman Show syndrome or the Truman syndrome, where essentially the delusion that they formed is that, you know, they live in a reality TV show, like, you know, about them and shit. And one guy that had it after 9/11 happened, he went to New York just to make sure that the towers were actually gone, because he thought it might have been a crazy fucking, you know, plot point thrown into his show or whatever. And I've often considered whether, you know, it's possible that nobody else exists except for me, you know, and like everything else is around me either for my entertainment or to drive me fucking crazy. Because some things that people do just seem so fucking stupid that I can't comprehend that they actually happened, or that somebody actually thought that, you know. And I've decided that it's very possible that that's true, because they're bitching about the way Obama was eating a hamburger because he put Dijon mustard on the hamburger, or he asked if they had a spicy mustard or maybe a Dijon kind of mustard. And apparently this is an egregious fucking offense. That is the most retarded thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And it is the most offensive thing to my psyche that these people are paid millions of dollars a year to report shit like this. And both sides do it. Everybody does it. The news is a shill to the point that it serves almost no purpose. It doesn't serve its key purpose, which is making sure that the government and the people in it remain free. That's the purpose. That's the reason that there's a free press. That's the reason that the Constitution guarantees the right to the freedom of the press. You know, because the press is supposed to help make sure that government doesn't do retarded shit. This is not informative. This is fucking retarded. When you hear people honestly claiming that the way some guy eats his hamburger is of importance to anyone besides himself, something has gone very wrong. Very, very wrong. Alright? You are no longer reporting the news. And it's been like this for a long time. It's just, this spurred me to want to talk about it. It's the reason that the presidential elections felt like they lasted almost 3 years. Because it was no longer about who was going to be the president. It was about, let's make as much money as possible off of this process. You know, shit like that. It's the reason that someone actually stood up when this swine flu thing started and started talking about how it might kill 20 million people when they had no fucking evidence that that was even an option, you know, just to spread panic just so they can make more money and shit. And it's a symptom of how stupid we are as a culture, how we're fucking dumb, all of us, everybody on the entire planet. The way that our culture works, we have more freedom to express our stupidity in different ways. It's really, I don't know, I just can't comprehend that somebody actually thought that that was important. And even if the right-wing hosts that, you know, brought this shit up, even if they were just kind of fucking joking, you know, the scary thing is that there's somebody somewhere who has taken the president's hamburger eating habits into mind, and they're going to use that as a basis to form a decision or an opinion on something. That is fucked up. Okay? And it's really way worse than it used to be in terms of politics. I mean, there was always mudslinging, but not over little not over the same kind of things. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre to me. And this last election was fucking terrible. And the John Kerry and George Bush election was fucking disgusting to me. How they could question John Kerry's. First of all, I wouldn't pick John Kerry as a president if he was up against somebody who wasn't George Bush. But, you know, it was sick to me for George Bush's campaign to question John Kerry's military service when George Bush spent his time in the military drinking and, like, snorting coke and shit while working at the Texas Air National Guard. Shit like that. And it's both sides, but the Democratic Party is a little bit less retarded with the kind of shit that they bring up, mainly because its customer base is not as likely to be swayed by something so fucking inane and stupid as what is on somebody's hamburger. But these are the kind of things that should freak people out and spurn them towards something different, something new. And it's unfortunate that only two sides are really expressed in this country politically. You have far-right TV news stations, you have far-left TV news stations, and there's really nothing in between. I mean, I guess you could argue CNN is, but that's really a matter of opinion. You know, there's plenty of shit to criticize somebody on, man. You could use the time that you spend working up your Dijon mustard hamburger story on, you know, doing journalism and investigating people on both sides. Everybody is fucking guilty of something. There's people in Congress that have committed crimes and shit. There's people in the military that committed crimes and shit like that. Fucking shit that's important. And the really disturbing thing to me is that if the news companies put real effort into digging up and finding out about, you know, wow, that guy actually committed a fucking fraud or some shit when they did this, or finding out who was actually responsible for ordering torture or whatever the hell it is, they would get just as much attention as they would for all these stupid little news stories, but it's too hard for them. They don't want to put the effort into it, so they sacrifice their integrity and they contribute to the stupidity of this country as a whole. Now, obviously, not a large amount of people are going to be swayed from an opinion by what some person puts on their hamburger, but the simple fact that they think that enough people will, that it's actually important enough to say, is enough, okay? If even one person would fucking make a decision based on that, we are all fucked. All of us. Because that person is an adult. Jesus Christ, there's somebody with a driver's license, a job, and somebody that's registered to vote that would actually choose their vote on what somebody put on their sandwich. And that is really, really fucked up.